What was the first game you played on Game Boy? Ruby, I think. Pokemon Ruby. Or actually, I remember a little bit of Pokemon Crystal, but it was not mine. I think this is how I approached Pokemon in the first place. I remember, so I used to go always with my mom when I was little. And my mom jobs, basically, sometimes she has to go to some people's houses, you know? And like, you know, like old ladies and everything. And she used to bring me with her. And at some point, I remember I was like very bored, and like I was very bored. I was very much like, please, I want to go home. And this old lady, she gave me on my hands a Game Boy Color for the very first time. And I was like, what is that? And the lady was like, yeah, please, you can feel free to play the game. It's from my son. Like, my son left because her son, I think, was like going to college and stuff. So he left all like his consoles at this lady's place. And then I started to play on this Game Boy Color for like hours and hours. And inside there was this game, Pokemon Crystal. And that's how I approached Pokemon the first time. I couldn't even read. I remember I didn't even know what I was doing. Yeah. So I was like, okay, I wanna play, and I was enjoying it. Then I think I remember, like, after a few times, I was begging my mom to go back to this lady just because I wanted to play the game again. And so eventually we went back to this lady, and I was like, please, can I borrow? Please, can I borrow this Game Boy? Please, 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 can I borrow? And she luckily borrowed me the Game Boy, so I was continuing playing on my own at home. And eventually I had to give it back, honestly. Eventually I had to give it back. But it was such a nice, I don't know, such a nice experience. It was my first time approaching Pokemon. Yeah. You know, like, as a child, I never really grew up with games. Like, a little bit. I think my dad had a PlayStation, but not really a proper console for myself. It was more like, this is one console you can, everyone can use, and I was always fighting with my brother to play. Always fighting with my brother. So, but yeah, I never really owned a Game Boy until I finally got a Nintendo DS eventually. Maybe one day I'll tell you how I got my Nintendo DS the first time, because that's also really sweet. But yeah, eventually I got my first Nintendo DS, and I got my first game for Nintendo DS was Nintendogs, I think. Of course. It was the best game, guys. Oh my gosh. It really was the best game. It's a classic. I know. I remember my first Nintendo DS was so pink. Man, I loved it. Nintendo was fire. I was a baby. I couldn't get a real dog, so my parents gave me Nintendogs. Of course. That is cute.